And welcome back. I have some eye-opening trends I want to share with you guys today because Redfin is reporting today, which is the 2nd of March, that home sold prices in the US are in the negative. So home prices down compared to 1 year ago for the first time going back to 2012. And on top of that, mortgage rates continue to surge. So I have a lot to share in today's video, to say the least. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And of course, if you guys aren't subscribed just yet, I invite you to do so. I post frequent housing market updates so you guys can make a more informed decision about whether you should be buying or selling a house. I share data straight from the source. So anyways, this is mind-blowing. Take a look at this. This is a report from Redfin that was just posted on the 2nd of March, which is today. Hope you guys appreciate these timely updates. Anyways, I just can't get over the fact that home sold prices are negative already. So the median US home sold price decreased by 0.6% on a year-over-year basis, marking the first annual drop since 2012. This milestone comes as daily average mortgage rates hit 7.1%, dampening home buyer demand and of course decreasing housing affordability. So take a look at this. Let me just refresh this because the 10-year has been surging today. An increase of 7 basis points and has surpassed 4% for the first time going back to November last year, when the yield was about 4.15%. Now it's just over 4%. Of course, I mentioned that because that's tied directly to mortgage rates, which, take a look at this. According to Investopedia.com, as of today, rates are at 7.16% for average 30-year fixed for people with exceptional credit as well. Also, look at this. According to the Mortgage News Daily, which I actually just announced on the channel this morning on the 2nd here, average 30-year fixed is at 7.10%, again, for people with exceptional credit. FHA and VA is around 6.5%. So again, average rates right now at 7.10%. 1 year ago, it was only 4.08%. That's a 302 basis point increase, or a 3.02 percentage point increase compared to 12 months ago, going from 4.08 to about 7.10%. So at 7.1% right now, this is actually the highest rates going back to November of 2022, when rates were about 7.22%. So when looking at rates compared to before that, does it say before October and November last year, the last time rates were above 7% was way back in 2002. So excluding today, as well as October and November last year, the last time the rates were this low was way back in 2002, based on data from Freddie Mac, which, by the way, the Mortgage News Daily only goes back to, when was this? Back in 2009. Also, when going back 1 month ago, when rates were at 5.99%, this means that average rates today have increased by about 1.1 percentage points over the last 1 month alone. This equates to an 11% decrease in buyers' purchasing power. So home buyers looking to buy a house right now are going to qualify for about 10% below what they did 1 month ago, which is absolutely insane. Also, here's the true impacts as well regarding for people looking to buy a house right now versus just 1 month ago. And I actually just shared this example with you guys yesterday in yesterday's video. And that was based on rates going from 5.99% to 6.94%, which was yesterday's rate on the 1st of March. But because rates have increased to 7.1% today, which, by the way, that was an increase of how many basis points? 16 basis points in 1 single day. Look at this. I'll share the exact same example I shared in yesterday's video, but looking at rates today at 7.1%. So for someone looking to buy a $450,000 home, putting 5% down at 5.99%, which was on February 2nd this year, your average monthly housing payment of principal and interest would be $2,560 per month, $2,560. Fast forward to right now, 450, 5% down at 7.10%. Your new housing payment will be $2,873 per month. That equates to an increase of $313 more per month compared to just 30 days ago. Also, another way to look at this is that this is an increase of $46 more per month to buy that same house compared to yesterday's rates at 6.94%. So in other words, because rates increased from 6.94% to 7.10% in one single day, that's an increase of $46 more per month. On top of that, here's another way to look at this as well, because when looking at rates at 5.9 compared to 7.1, at 5.9, if you're going to keep that loan for 30 years, the total amount of interest paid over the life of the loan, which of course is 30 years, is $494,000 at 5.9. At 7.1 though, your total interest paid over the life of the loan would be $606,000. That equates to an increase of $112,000 more in interest paid over the life of the loan compared to just 30 days ago. I mean, how mind-blowing is that? This giant increase in rates, if it sustains these levels, is likely to decrease home buying demand further in the weeks and months ahead. But of course, data can change, and so I'll definitely keep you posted, of course. So going back to Redfin's report right here, it says the typical U.S. home sold for $350,246 during the 4 weeks ended February 26, down by 0.6% on a year-over-year basis, marking the first time prices have dropped since February of 2012. And by the way, except for the prior 4-week period, which was posted last week, Redfin actually revised their home sold price for a drop of 0.3% for the 4 weeks ended February 19th. And by the way, in that report, which was posted 1 week ago, at that time, they posted that home sold prices increased by 0.1% from a year ago. Now they have actually revised that down to 0.3% compared to 12 months ago. Now here's something that Redfin had a good point on, and this actually kind of coincides with my example regarding this giant increase in rates, which is causing a lack of housing affordability. Redfin states here, but that doesn't mean that houses are more affordable, given the fact that home sold prices are down by 0.6% compared to 1 year ago. The typical monthly mortgage payment for today's home buyer is at a record high of $2,520 due to elevated mortgage rates. This could lead to a prolonged winter for the housing market. Meanwhile, as I mentioned in my previous video, mortgage purchase applications, according to the MBA, fell to the lowest levels since 1995, a 28-year low for the amount of people submitting applications for home loans to buy houses. Which they state right here, down 44% compared to 1 year ago. However, Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index, which of course is a measure of requests of home tours and other home buying services from Redfin agents, hit its highest level since September last year. However, it's still down by 24% from a year earlier. Now, here are some key housing market takeaways for the 400 plus U.S. metros that Redfin tracks for the 4 weeks ended February 26 this year. Again, the median home sold price decreased to $350,246, down 0.6% from 1 year ago, the first decline on record. Redfin's monthly data set, which goes back through 2012, shows the last time that home prices decreased on an annualized basis, or not annualized, on an annual basis, was February 2012, when they decreased by 1.5%. Meanwhile, the median sold price decreased compared to 12 months ago in roughly half of the 50 largest metros. So 24 of the 50 most populous metros are recording decreases in the home sold prices compared to 1 year ago. The biggest drops were in the pandemic home buying hotspots, as well as Northern California. So for example, in Austin, Texas, they're seeing an 11% decrease in their home sold prices compared to 12 months ago. So take a look at this. This is for Austin, Texas, which by the way, Redfin has not updated their data center at the time of this video for February 26. But I do have data for the 4 weeks ended February 19th. So as of then, home sold prices were down by 10%, going from $448,000 from the highs set in May last year at $574,000. So by my dumb math, that's a 22% decrease in home prices in Austin, Texas from the highs seen in May of 2022, a decrease of 22% in the median sold price in Austin, Texas. I mentioned that because when talking about year-over-year changes, that actually includes this giant run-up in home prices, for example, in Austin, Texas, from more or less of February all the way until May last year. So when talking about year-over-year changes, it really doesn't tell us the full story because, as you guys can see right here, home prices have been decreasing big time ever since May and June of last year. In contrast, when talking about year-over-year changes, it actually includes this run-up in home prices that we saw in February all the way until May. In any case, getting back to Redfin's report right here, Austin, Texas led the nation with the biggest decrease compared to 12 months ago. That was followed by San Jose, California, which is, of course, is just south of San Francisco, down by 10.9%. Oakland, California, down by 10.4%. Oakland was actually in the number 1 spot for quite some time, for several weeks. Now it's in the number 3 spot. Sacramento down by 7.7%. And Phoenix, Arizona down by 7.3%. On top of that, that's the biggest sales drop on record for each of those metros except for San Jose, California. In contrast, sale prices increased the most in West Palm Beach, Florida, a gain of 15%. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 13.2%. Columbus, Ohio, an increase of 9.5%. Miami, Florida, gaining by 9.1%. And Fort Lauderdale, Florida, an increase of 7.8%. One thing I do want to mention regarding home prices in the US is that we're not going to see this giant run up in prices like we saw in 2022, which is one reason why I've been telling you guys that we're going to be seeing negative price growth very, very soon. And of course, Redfin posts today that we saw negative growth. So look at this chart right here. So the blue line is 2023. The black line is 2022. For all Redfin metros here. So starting in February last year, home prices absolutely skyrocketed until we hit all-time record highs more or less in May and June of last year. This year, of course, we're not going to see that because last year, a lot of people were trying to buy houses before rates increased. Again, at this time last year, rates were out 4%. And again, right now, rates are actually over 7%. Therefore, we're not going to see this run up in home prices like we saw last year. If prices remain flat, I'm not going to say this is going to happen, but if prices will remain flat all the way until June and May this year, we're actually going to be down about 10 to 11% in the median sold price in the US by May and June this year. Of course, if home prices decrease through this spring months, which would be absolutely insane, if that happens, we're going to see double-digit decreases by June and May this year. Time will tell, and I'll definitely keep you posted with the latest developments. Redfin is also reporting that the monthly mortgage payment on the median asking price home, this is based on your housing payment based on asking prices today on a national level here, was $2,520 at the 6.65% mortgage rate based on a weekly survey from Freddie Mac. Of course, this is going to look a lot higher given the fact that rates are actually over 7%. But at 6.65%, this is an all-time record high. Meanwhile, pending home sales were down 15% year over year, the smallest decrease since July last year. On top of that, look at this. Pending home sales fell in every single one of the 50 most populous US metros. They actually fell the most in Las Vegas, Nevada, a decrease of 52 or 55.2%. Austin, Texas, pending home sales fell by 49.5% compared to 12 months ago. Portland, Oregon decreased about 47%. Riverside, California down 45%. And Nashville, Tennessee, a decrease of 45.3%. Additionally, we're still seeing this lock-in effect amongst current homeowners who do not want to give up their historically low rates. And that's where we're seeing new listings decrease on a year-over-year basis. So new listings fell 20.3% year over year, the biggest decline in 3 months. New listings decreased in every single one of the 50 most populous US metros, with the biggest declines in Oakland, California, down by 45%, followed by Sacramento, Seattle, San Jose, California, as well as Portland, Oregon. Also regarding active listings, which of course is the number of houses for sale, was down 19.6% on a year-over-year basis, the smallest increase in more than 2 months. For whatever reason, Redfin is only reporting an increase of 19.6%, but we're looking at data from Realtor.com as well as AltusResearch.com. They're reporting increases of about 70% compared to 12 months ago. Redfin's only reporting an increase of 19.6%. Redfin is also reporting that the month supply, which of course is a measure of the balance between buyers and sellers right now, is at 3.5 months, down from 4.4 months from 1 month ago, but still up from 2.1 months from a year ago. Additionally, 45% of houses that went under contract had an accepted offer within the first 2 weeks of the house being listed for sale. That's the highest level since June last year, but still down from 53% from a year earlier. Days on the market also increased to 50 days. That's up from 31 days from 12 months ago, but up greatly from the all-time record low that was set last May when days on the market was only 18 days. By the way, this is a measure of when a house gets listed for sale to when they accept an offer and the house eventually closes or finalizes here. So it's taking approximately 50 days from a house being listed for sale to when they accept an offer on average in the US. And that's up greatly from the all-time record lows of only 18 days that was set last May. Also have a look at this. This is pretty wild. Only 22% of houses that sold above the seller's final list price. In contrast, this means that approximately 78% of the houses that sold during this time frame here sold at or below the seller's asking price. And again, a friendly reminder when talking about any stats that have to do with houses that actually close, such as days in the market, percent of houses that sold over asking price, and of course the sale price to list price ratio, and of course the median sold price, that's again a lagging indicator of what a housing market was like 1 to 2 months ago when the home seller accepted an offer from home buyer. And I mentioned that because mortgage rates have been surging over the past 30 days, and that's likely to be impacted, these lagging indicators, in the next 1 to 2 months from now. In other words, these stats I'm sharing in today's video could get a lot worse if mortgage rates stay above these high levels right now, above 7%, for example. And speaking of that, the average sale price to final list price ratio was at 98%, meaning houses sold for about 2% below the seller's final asking price. This is actually the highest levels in 2 months, but down from 100.6% from a year earlier. This, of course, means that 1 year ago, houses on average were selling for 0.6% over the seller's final list price. Now they're selling for about 2% below. So what's your biggest takeaway from today's video? Please comment below. Also, if you guys got any value in this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Of course, I appreciate you. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.